But anyway, you can come off something even as simple as that Harbor Freight and have direct loads. An inverter is obviously necessary, and then you can go into that, into your AC disconnect to your breaker, which sells it back to the power company. Now, you can have a licensed electrician come do the whole thing. If you want somebody to come out and keep it private, I do private contracting now, and I mean when I say private, it's private. So I can do everything up to here, and then you can call a certified electrician, or if you're with some of these local electric companies, they have to come out now anyway. So if you want to go grid tie, that I can take you 90% of the way. But the utility company will finish that up. And now if you're in Greenville or up a little higher, you can probably get around some of those issues. Here is a grid tie kit that you can buy for out in the yard. Those panels are megalithic. I'm talking big. You get 6 of those, and the kit costs $3,000, roughly $4 grand, and you got your shipping. But then you get that 30% federal tax credit, and then if you get your state incentives, for long you've only paid about half that cost. That thing right there could take your electric bill. I figured it up on mine. I can about cut my electric bill in half. So you're talking $70, $80 for this local electric region. If you bought those kits, you're looking at $70, $80 every kit. So all you have to have is it's weird because it looks like an iPhone adapter. You know, you plug your iPhone at the bottom. But all you do is on the back of this, it comes together to this grid tie inverter, and that goes through the plugged solar box, and you plug it straight in the wall. And the people even assist you with your local electric company getting it approved. So you can potentially, I ain't guaranteeing you nothing, but for some electric companies you can potentially skip the extra meter and go straight into a non-dedicated outlet for anything else other than that and start eliminating your electric bill. Because I'll tell you, you're going to suck that power. You know, you're putting it in one outlet and you're sucking it right back out the other because, you know, TV's going, microwave, everything else. And that is a 1.7 kilowatt setup. And the thing comes in a box, you just set it up in the yard, you knock the whole thing out in a day. It's crazy. But you can check them out at plugsolar.com. And
hey, Luke, when you're saying a dedicated outlet, you're not saying a dedicated circuit all the way back to your box, right? You're just saying an outlet that has nothing else plugged into it.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, it would be best to have nothing on that entire circuit. You know, because if you've got it coming off and it splits right there and you've got 2 boxes,
right,
don't be having the microwave on the other one. Yeah. And it needs to be uninterrupted, straight line of power back. Like what I plan to do with that is, I've been thinking about it, is I'm just going to have one of those outside outlets put into the house and run it straight up to the box, set the ground mount unit out, plug it to the outside outlet, and be done. As long as they don't make me put in another meter. If they make me put in another meter, I'm going to call the licensed electrician guy, let him put the box in with the plug right below it, right, and then plug it in right outside. So I never have to look at it.
So it goes back to your electric box and then distributes throughout the house.
Exactly. As long as they don't make you put the other meter in.
Right.
If you have to put the other meter, it goes back in the grid, then it comes right back down in your house. It's stupid, but the reason they do that is because our world revolves around money nowadays, and they want to make sure they get you for every cent, you know, and that's really what it boils down to.
So if your power goes off, they come work on your system,
you don't have that.
You got to be unplugged.
Well, see, the thing with being grid tied, it has its trade-offs. You're getting money now, but if you don't do a multi-pole switch disconnect, which I'm about to go into here, where it go to a battery bank, when the grid goes down, your house is going to be dark too,
right,
because it has island protection. You don't want a lineman working on a lineman on the line working, and then that guy gets electrocuted. Don't tell people, the reason I stay in 12-volt land is because, you know, the other day we were working on a lawnmower. Me and Luke's just grabbing in the battery and ain't worried about a thing. You get up in 24 or 36-volt land, you want to see people get fried, you get fried, especially when you get into AC. I get nervous with that stuff, and I tried to keep it as simple as possible. But, yeah.
Yeah, is this stuff going to be on your 7 trucker?
We're rolling right now. Yeah, it'll all be there and it's free. And yeah, it's another thing. Because we clicked 10,000 subscribers, we are about as official as you can get with YouTube now, going, you know, making money for a channel. I ain't ever going to charge nobody. So it's going to be the same as it's always been. Yeah, it's free content. Well, option 3 is what I would encourage everybody to do. because it's the track that I took and currently on, pacing to get to this point, is that you have grid tied with the electric company in the beginning. You suck the government dry for the money that you can get out of it. And then you've distributed your DC loads in the house, some DC lights, things like we've got running right now. And you have your battery bank. So you have a multi-pole switch disconnect. So you have power coming in to your DC, which can go to your battery bank. You have power coming in that's going to go to the grid, and you have where you can just turn it off completely. Because if you just put a single disconnect box, if you cut the power off, then you're done. And right here, there's some isolator switches and things you can put in this. And these diagrams will be up where you can view it. But the breaker panel, when it comes in, the inverter, they've showed here where you can even tie in a backup generator and things like that. There's a company now that makes a load lock, and I didn't put it in here, is you can take and load lock out your house. So what it is the breaker, the main breaker, it gets tied into where that when you pull it up and over, it cuts the grid away from you. So you could actually backfeed solar through that, your generator through, things like that. There's some options about that now. But another thing about that, if you don't have batteries, like we were talking a second ago, if you don't have batteries, then when the sun goes down of evening, no running, nothing. You've lost your power. So you've got a 1.7 kilowatt unit, you're pulling 1.7 during the day. When dark comes, you've got zero. So, batteries are crucial. I use gel batteries. And the Optima gel batteries, they're very expensive. And I use industrial grade truck batteries for, over the road trucks. That's the two I use. I would never, ever discharge my batteries more than 60%. If you do, you're on a slow downhill decline to death in those states. It is what it is. Yes, sir.
Marine batteries, they work pretty well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I got one at the house going on another project here, so yellow top, blue top, red top, whatever, I heard bad things about those red top batteries. I've never used them, so I don't even want to comment. The yellow top, fine. Matter of fact, if you get some of those batteries, there's a special charger that Optima makes for those type batteries. Sometimes people don't charge it the right way, and they think the thing's dead. I got one that was in a battery sack that was to be recycled. I traded a battery for it, got it, put it on a solar bank. It was a slow trickle charge and brought it back to life. So if you're ever at the auto parts store and they'll trade with you, you might find you a battery there you can take and check your voltmeter. You might be able to bring it back to life. This is an example of the battery bank that you could use to power your house for an extremely long time. This is my friend Brian May, that if you see him on episode 3 on Doomsday Preppers last season, on season 2, that right there is set up at 12 volt. He can flip the switch and make it 24 volt. It ties the two banks together. And he can run his house for days off of this. But he has solar, he has wind, and he has a lot of things he's tied in over time. Brian's like me and him doing a little along over time. And before I go any further with that, if you're kind of wanting to get a feel for where you're at with the things that you have built to make power, you can always check it. There's a lot of sources. This is Hurricane Wind Power, has this unit right here. I'll pass this around. It's an inline meter. So, a lot of these companies says, well, my wind turbine makes 1,600 watts. And then you plug the thing up and it makes like 60. They lied to you. Well, Tony hooks his stuff up to a meter and he shows it on his YouTube. He's like, here's my product and here's what it makes. And he sent me one, and because I'm all the time making stuff, not knowing right away what it makes on power. You hook your load to what you're wanting it to go to, and then you hook the source from where the power's coming, and it'll feed right through and tell you what you're making as you're making it. So I'll pass that around. And if you're going to do your own power, I don't have the leads hooked in this at the moment, but this unit right here, this is not your normal amp plant. This is a DC amp plant. This thing will do up to 400 amps DC. And dude, if you're making 400 amps DC, I want to come to your house and see what you build. All right, because you probably invited Tony Stark over and got an arc reactor. All right, the thing works great, and I used it the other night because I'm going to get into thermal power here in a little bit. You need one of these. I mean, it's a necessity. I went without one for a long time. I kept burning up AC meters. Where'd that one? I kept burning up meters all the time, and that gets running in cash. Buy a good DC meter, and you can build all the DC power stuff you want. Set it around there. there's some business cards Luke's passing around. One of them's for hurricane wind power and one of them's for YouTube. Okay, so this is one of the companies I want to share with you because, like I said, Goal Zero is really expensive. I own some of their stuff, but I won't endorse it. I own this, and I will endorse it. These guys are out of New York, and whenever Hurricane Sandy came through, they all decided they were going to do something about it. And they've started making this equipment, started selling this equipment and getting it designed and everything. And this kit is called the Illuminator. And the thing comes with 2 panels, 4 lights, a fan. It's got a radio built into it, so you can hear a radio if you needed to hear about an emergency. I mean, there's a lot packed into this thing, and it's only 250 bucks. So in a nutshell, in comparison, if you buy like the Yeti 150 from like Goal Zero, the thing and the panel, the 20-watt fold-up panel for it, I think it's like $200-something. So you're getting a lot more bang for your buck, and the unit.
You said it was how much again?
$250. And you can check them out at that website I'll put back up at the end. It's later on. This is some of their other stuff. This is things, if you want to go off-grid, like I was talking about earlier, they have the adapters. One of the few companies out there I've seen that have the adapters to go directly in from your battery bank, your MC4 cables. I mean, you name it, they've about got it together. I was actually talking with, I'm going to try to get Aaron to the point where that if you got wind power, that's an option too. So man, if you did that, you about got it rocked out. That thing comes with 2 fold-up panels. So I mean, you're getting 2 fold-up. I think those are 100-watt panels. And I really like another aspect about it. I mean, these guys done their research is because they use Renogy panels on their stuff too. So I can actually say it's a good panel that they sell because I use it. I bought that, you know, I got that panel on my own for my own build before I ever knew about these guys. So the panels are good quality. It has waterproofing plugs. So if you don't want to go with the electric company grid tie or anything like this, you buy that and you have everything you need for off-grid power up to 1500 watts, 20 amps. So don't max out over 20 amps and don't max out over 1500 watts. There you go. And if you get some DC water heater elements for your water heater and a DC pump, you know, a DC powered pump, water pump, you hook that on, you still have your heated water. So I mean, you know, as long as you got a wood stove, you don't need the stove because that's pulling 220. And then you could eliminate the water situation. So you could about get by with this worst case. This is 2000 watts and 30 amps power. Comes with panels. I mean, they got a lot of great stuff. I just tried to throw this on there the other day because after seeing it firsthand at the expo and then getting some and testing it myself, great. And they do custom builds. So if you want something custom whipped up, they'll come up with that as well. I'm going to show you some wind power, a couple diagrams, and show you some stuff about thermal power, and I'm going to wrap it up because
I don't know if you covered this before we got here, but for somebody that's new into solar, this is a twofold thing. You know, the first thing you do is you read and they tell you to try to decrease your energy output as much as possible, you know, so you don't have to have as much. But my question is that like, you know, we've got the house, we have a shed that doesn't have electricity, we want to put in an electrified fence, we want to put in electric at the coop, you know, so would we be best to do one at each spot or to start at the house and just keep tying it in, or also the water pump, you know, well pump?
well, I work from one place out. Like I had the wind turbine when we installed it, for example, on the farm. We worked from that spot, took it to a main power spot or main power place, and distributed it from there, and wired that to things from there. I wouldn't have like a battery bank here and a battery bank there or anything like that. I'd take it all to one place and take it from there because it's just so much easier to keep up with maintenance on it. Because whenever you've got things distributed all over, that turns into a lot of work later down the road.
Even the cost with the electrical wire to run to each spot and everything?
I still would just do it from one place. Because then you're going to need, you see, the money you would spend in the wire, you got to think about you're going to spend in the disconnect boxes, and you're going to spend in the extra batteries for that place. Before you're said and done, you come out better just to run the wire. And I'll tell you, coming up here on the wire, and I'll tell you how to, I cheated on that here in a minute, but wind power, people say you cannot make wind power. You can make wind power. Do not do like, I ain't gonna say the college, but if you drive out from here, there's a college. They have a huge wind turbine. It never turns, okay, except for when it comes to storm, it's gonna rip the roof off my house. My wind turbine turns almost every day. And there's a difference. That's small wind, and that's great for those of us that are preppers or homestead, whatever, however you want to label it. And that is doable. But the other is not beneficial to you. And the other thing is, it's that big of power, you're not going to be consuming it at that point. You're going to be, you're about to go commercial. When you have 5 kilowatt thing out in the yard, you're selling it to electric company. You're not using it. So anyway, these right here are the turbines like you can get at Missouri Wind and Solar, Hurricane Wind Power. Here's the most recent install I just done. That is a fixed mount, 30 foot up in the air, set up. Sorry I took that kind of at dust. But anyway, if you do a fixed mount turbine, you just need to have a way of servicing it. I can get up there and service that. I have a means to do that. But if you're going to be later down the road, you want to be able to service it, you need to fix your pivot mount where that it can come up or come down. Yes, sir.
Now, do they have to be that tall? The reason I ask that is we're in how we're located and everything. If we're real unobtrusive, and the less that we would have to be seen, the better off we would be.
Right.
So I don't know if that has to be a certain height or.
Well, I wouldn't go less than 30 foot. I mean, I just wouldn't, because there, if you notice, just like flying a kite, you get a kid out in the yard flying a kite, there's that peak moment, you know, when you get a kite up there on a decent windy day, you know, 6-7 mile an hour wind, that it just really cuts in good. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to say. You just have to see one of them, you know. That's that, for where I live, that's kind of that point, because I'm already kind of on a hill. If you're down in a valley, I mean, gosh, you're just going to have to figure out kind of where your wind blows. Now, I ain't going to say you get wind power everywhere. You know, I'm not saying it, like right here today on flat ground, the wind's not blowing. You're not going to have wind today. You know, maybe later today on the flat ground right here, and a storm comes, you'll have wind power. But you know, some places where I'm on elevation, I'm always getting wind. Always.
Well, we get a north wind coming out through the valley because we're up on a hill.
Right.
But then where we've got the least intrusive views and everything is in the back, on the south side, but you don't get as much wind there because we're in like between two ridges.
Well, I mean, I just wouldn't do anything under 30 foot. I mean, I won't build something for somebody under 30 foot. That's just where I would be at. With the higher up, you can go even better. You know, I mean, it's just like ham radios. You can get the higher the tower, the further out you can go sometimes. So I mean, same situation with wind power. But there's a couple options on wind. Here's the situation. You can sell this to electric company. You will not make as much money selling wind power as you will solar. There's a difference. I don't know if it's like 5 or 6 cents difference now. It's not that much, but there is a difference if you make less. You can hook your wind turbine straight up, and it goes into an inverter, which also goes out to your main panel and then back in electric company. That's really it. Just sell it straight in. Now, I do wind power 3-phase. I bring it in 3-phase, and then I rectify it into DC. And the reason you can do that is you can cheat. You can go to Lowe's, and they sell, you know, the yellow commercial extension cords. If you notice in that build video, I took from the turbine down to the disconnect box. Guys at Lowe's said you can't take a single pole disconnect box and make it into a multi-pole switch disconnect box. Well, I show you on YouTube how you can do it. So there you go. It can be done. It's not UL listed, just saying. But I don't care about the electric company. It's for off-grid purposes only. But anyway, if you're going to do it to the grid, you need to have a UL listed box. When that comes in, because that's AC 3-phase, you can bring that in on that kind of cable and into your box, and you see the whole thing in the build video step by step. And you can do that up to the very last moment when you run it through a rectifier, and it takes those 3 legs and puts it into 2 legs as DC. And that goes into your inverter, and you can make power. And that is option 2 right here, and I'll show you.
Tell them why you do that.
Do what now?
Tell them why you take it.
The rectifier.
3-phase to 2-phase.
Well,
smaller wire.
yeah, long story short is the power loss is the biggest thing on my end. You know, I want, the more you change power, you know, you put in something, you pull out of something, you change it, blah, 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 the hertz, the wavelengths, I could get into a whole science class. But the less, it's like walking through a doorway. Okay, it takes energy. We open a door, or we walk in another door. We have to open a door. But what if you had an open hallway? It's less energy, you know, transferred out of it. Same thing with power. So you take it three-phase to the last moment, and then you change it over to DC power into your inverter, and it comes out the other side, AC power, single phase. And right here is an example of this without the inverter on the other end. This is what I've set up here on the YouTube and on the farm. You have your turbine come down, you have a ground off your turbine because you don't want a lightning rod up in the air hitting that and it goes in and fries everything you've worked hard to build. I have a stop switch, that multi-pole disconnect box that the electric company said, or the Lowe's guys said you couldn't build, I built out of their materials. The charge controller, so what I have is it goes into a Laco.com. You can check them out. They make charge controllers that has a rectifier built into it. So it saves you material. All of it's contained in that one box.
How you spell it?
Aleko, A-L-E-K-O. Now they are here in America, but some of their stuff's from China. And then you can have an amp meter in line, watts to you if you want to put that, and then fused into your battery. And obviously you've got your grounded out as well. The other side is just your inverter, so you could use one of those Slare-on things on the other end of it off your battery bank because they have the attachment. So there's that option, and that's off-grid. Now here is, this is the Mac Daddy in the end. This is what every prepper should strive for. Anybody who wants to be a homesteader, survivalist, whatever you label yourself, is, I have a hard time with that nowadays. Anybody follow Main Prepper or a Wrangle Star on YouTube? I'm doing a video blasting that here soon because, that's fine if it cuts out, because, you know, people throw down on the prepper movement. You know, for me, I'm prepping for the end of days, the biblical end of days. I don't care if people laugh at me or not. Apparently nowadays, if you're a prepper for anything, even if it's just for the power goes out, apparently all of a sudden that's fear-mongering. So I'm not here to fear-monger you. If you want power independence, great for you. I've got mine going on, so I hope you get yours too. So we're going to do a video addressing those people. I appreciate that on YouTube later. Anyway, this wind power, and come in just like we just talked about. And here's our solar, like we just talked about earlier, but now you see there's fuses here. Because you don't want something happen here to come in and go back and fry your solar. You don't want something happen here, come in and fry your wind. That would, I wouldn't think that would happen, but just for safety. And then over here, off this battery bank, you've got your load controller. Because if you're making a ton of power in high wind, this will dump that off. But the solar is always going to go through and make the power. When the light's on, you know, you've got sunlight, you've got power. It's just like that. You can have a windstorm about rip your roof off, it's making 40 amps. And then another day it's only making 5. You've got to make sure and have control of that. And here's a resistive load. You can dump it to resistors or to a light source or something. And that's got it in a nutshell on do-it-yourself prep. This is the last thing I'll share with you. We are working on a series on the channel. You can make your own power. I've already done the first video that shows you